sa ating mga nanonood na ngayon.
Ma'am, ito pong Presidential Awards for Filipino Individuals and Organization Overseas ay minsan tuwing 2 taon lamang po ginagawa. Gaano po kahalaga itong event na ito?
Well, can I speak?
Go ahead.
Yes. Well, of course, we will look at this celebration of all the overseas Filipinos all over the world. We have 10.5 overseas Filipinos right now in more than 200 countries, and they're broken down as follows: 47% are permanent migrants, 40% are what we call overseas Filipino workers, and 13% are what we call undocumented migrants. So ito ay celebration for all of them. This is in a way telling them that victory has been reached by our overseas Filipinos through the achievements of these outstanding overseas Filipinos.
Yes, ma'am. Ito pong ating awardees ngayong hapon po ay talaga naman pong inspirasyon sa ating mga kapwa Pilipino. Pero po, can you walk us through the process lang po ng pagpili ng ating mga awardees? Paano po bang mag-nominate ng presidential awardee?
Of the Philippines.
Actually,
Please remain standing for the invocation to be delivered by Bishop Noel Pantoja.
Let us all pray. Our gracious Heavenly Father, we invoke the presence of the Almighty God in this midst this afternoon. As we gather today to celebrate and recognize the efforts of our fellow Filipinos who has excelled in their fields or contributed to the welfare of the Filipinos or their host countries around the world and made us all Filipinos proud. Maraming salamat po, aming Panginoong Diyos, sa aming butihin at minamahal na Pangulong Benigno S. Aquino III at ang bumubuo ng 2014 Committee on Presidential Awards for Filipino Individuals and Organizations Overseas at Commission on Filipino Overseas sa kanilang pagnanais na bigyang kahalagahan ang natatanging galing ng mga Pilipino sa iba't ibang larangan saan mang sulok ng mundo sila dinala ng aming Panginoon. Pagpalain mo po, aming Diyos, ang patuloy na pagpupunyagi at gawain ng aming pamahalaan sa pangunguna ng aming mahal na Pangulo upang iangat ang kalagayan at kabuhayan ng aming milyon-milyong kababayan sa dakong ibayo ng mundo. Sa gitna ng mga hamon ng buhay dito sa aming bansang Pilipinas at saan man sa mundo, dalangin po namin ang inyong gabay, katalinuhan, kalakasan at pag-iingat, ang masaganang pagpapala rin sa aming mga minamahal na Filipino overseas, gayon din sa kanilang mga pamilya. Sa dakilang araw na ito, aming Panginoong Diyos, ibuhos mo po ang inyong masaganang pagpapala sa aming lahat sa pagdiriwang na ito, kasama ng dalangin ng iyong pag-iingat sa aming mga kababayan na nasa daan ng bagyong Ruby. Ito po ang aming dalangin na may pagpapasalamat. Amen. Tayo po'y makakaupo na.
May we request everyone to take your seat. Following the launching of the search for the 2014 Presidential Awards in January 2013, 157 nominations were submitted from 29 countries through 40 Philippine embassies and consulates in various regions of the world. They were screened and evaluated initially by our Philippine embassies and consulates and by the awards technical committee composed of representatives from the Commission on Filipinos Overseas, Department of Foreign Affairs, Department of Science and Technology, Department of Health, National Commission for Culture and the Arts, Philippine Migration Research Network, and Filipino Migrant Workers Group. Subsequently, the nominations were evaluated by the Executive Committee, which is chaired by the Commission of Filipinos Overseas, with members from the Department of Foreign Affairs, Philippine Daily Inquirer, International Center for Innovation, Transformation, and Excellence in Governance, and Philippine Council of Evangelical Churches. This year, 33 individuals and organizations overseas have passed the scrutiny of our awards technical and executive committees to make it here in tonight's awarding ceremony. To give the opening remarks, we call on Secretary Imelda Nicolas, Chairperson of the Commission on Filipinos Overseas.
Your Excellency, President Benigno S. Aquino III, members of the Cabinet, ambassadors and members of the Diplomatic Corps and the international community, presidential awardees and their families, fellow workers in government, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Commission on Filipinos Overseas, I am pleased to welcome all of you to this year's presentation of the 2014 Presidential Awards for Filipino individuals and organizations overseas. This afternoon marks another milestone in the history of the Filipino diaspora, as we honor 27 individuals and 6 organizations who have contributed immensely to the cause of Filipinos here and abroad. It is our way of belying the oft-quoted saying that no person is a hero in his hometown. We are awed by the breadth, the depth, and the height of the achievements and generosity of our awardees. In music, we have a world-renowned classical pianist, an internationally acclaimed singer and performer, a multi-awarded composer, a jazz icon, a group using music to heal and uplift the spirit of our children overseas, all exemplifying the Filipinos' incredible musical talent. In the arts, we hail our painters and printmaker, whose works have been exhibited all over the world, and a Renaissance man who, aside from being a versatile artist, is also an anthropologist, a historian, an essayist. In the field of science, we recognize a number of highly esteemed scientists and doctors who have pioneered researches in their respective areas of expertise, from marine drug discovery to the prevention and cure of HIV/AIDS and several infectious diseases, from retina research to bioterrorism responses, from dam safety to food security. We salute a group of electrical engineers who help their fellow professionals improve themselves, who pay back and pay forward to their motherland in whatever way they can. Then, of course, there are the groups we honor for being in the forefront for the protection and promotion of Filipino migrants' rights in the U.S. and South Korea. We have in the midst of our awardees the White House executive chef, an investigative journalist who is now the mentor of the next generation of the world's news writers and newsmakers, a famed fashion designer who has made a name for himself in international haute couture. In politics, governance, and advocacy, our awardees range from women's rights activists to the first Filipina and foreign-born citizen elected in Korea's national legislature, and the first elected Filipino official in the UK. From one who has advanced the cause of Filipino nurses, not only in her own host country, but globally, to those who have given much-needed services to our married migrants and their children, whether in Japan or in Korea. In business, our kudos go to our successful, technology-driven entrepreneurs who believe not only in doing well, but more so in doing good. This awarding ceremony is the recognition of your voyage as Filipino migrants who still chose to serve this country while building a life elsewhere. Despite the triumphs and accolades you have earned abroad, you have never failed to look back. Last year, we witnessed the outpouring of your sympathy and support during and after the havoc created by Super Typhoon Yolanda. A quick and dirty study done by the CFO revealed that almost $44 million in cash and kind donations were mobilized by the overseas Filipinos to help those devastated by the storm. It is amazing how you remain part and parcel of our national life and public consciousness. We have seen your proactive involvement in issues such as the West Philippine Sea, the passage and implementations of the Overseas Voting Act of 2013, and the expanded Anti-Trafficking in Persons Act of 2012. We are alarmed to hear about the Ebola virus, the continuing conflict in Syria, and disasters in other parts of the globe, worried that you may be in harm's way. Monthly, without fail, we get the report of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas of the ever-increasing flow of foreign remittances, which in 2013 already totaled $25 billion. From the U.S., we laud the most recent pronouncement of President Barack Obama to stop the deportation of undocumented immigrants and open the way for their temporary stay given the conditions cited in the U.S. President's executive order. Again, from the U.S., there is the ardent effort of the Film Medicare Portability Coalition to design a study that will demonstrate the feasibility and benefits of Medicare portability for presentation to the Obama administration and American insurance companies. During the global and regional summits of Filipinos in the diaspora we have convened this past 4 years, you have organized and empowered yourselves into networks ranging from the US to Europe and now the Middle East and eventually the Asia Pacific. From the very start of the President's term, he acknowledged the situation of our overseas Filipinos. In his 16-point social contract with the Filipino people, he stressed the transformative character of his administration, and I quote, "From a government that treats its people as an export commodity and a means to earn foreign exchange, disregarding the social cost to Filipino families, to a government that creates jobs at home, so that working abroad will be a choice rather than a necessity. And when its citizens do choose to become overseas Filipino workers, their welfare and protection will still be the government's priority." End of quote. For the parents, husbands, partners, siblings, sons and daughters of our awardees, you have suffered with them the pain of separation, pined for their presence at home, felt the hurts they had to endure as a foreigner in a strange land, witnessed the obstacles they had to overcome to reach where they are now. So it is just fitting and proper that you are here with them to bask in the honor that our grateful motherland and President are bestowing on them today. Through your never-ending encouragement, unconditional love, and unstinting support, their journeys converge here in Malacañang Palace today, completing the circle of life that began in this country decades ago. To our foreign friends who have helped our countrymen and women here and abroad, we called you honorary Filipinos during our December 3 pre-awards dinner. Now, in the presence of the President, I am repeating the same declaration. This is the least we can do as you have attended to the needs of our compatriots, children and adults alike, whether in times of crisis or not. We hail you as brother and sister Filipinos. So again, welcome to all of you, and let the well-deserved presidential recognition and celebration begin. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay kayong lahat.
Thank you, Secretary Nicolas. We will now proceed with the conferment of the Presidential Awards to our 33 honorees. We invite His Excellency, the President, Secretary Nicolas, and Secretary Licuanan to confer the 2014 Presidential Awards for Filipino individuals and organizations overseas. We call on our honorees to come forward as their names are called to receive their award. There are 4 award categories in the Presidential Award system. The first awards category is the Kaanib ng Bayan Award, which is conferred on foreign individuals or organizations for their exceptional or significant contribution to Philippine reconstruction, progress, and development, or have significantly benefited a sector or community in the Philippines or advanced the cause of overseas Filipino communities. American Jewish Joint Distribution Committee from Israel, for its generous philanthropic assistance and sustained support of the rebuilding and rehabilitation efforts, especially in the region's deficit, is represented by Ilan Con and Hannah Gaventa. Mr. Wako Asato from Japan, for his extraordinary concern for the welfare of Filipino migrants and their families in Japan, and his persistent efforts in raising public awareness on the important linkage between migration, welfare, and development in the formulation of policies affecting healthcare professionals. Humana Child Aid Society, for its efforts in extending humanitarian assistance and social services to marginalized children through its learning centers to enable them to escape from poverty and exploitative living conditions. Humana Child Aid Society is represented by Torben and Rosalind Venning. Mr. Dominique Sigart, Belgium, for his important role in the upgrading of educational facilities in Davao del Sur, as well as his proactive support of the ongoing campaign to attract more tourists to Philippine shores. Ambassador Roland Van Remortil will receive the award on behalf of Dominique Sigart. The next award category is the Lingkod sa Kapwa Filipino Award, which is conferred on Filipino associations or individuals for their exceptional contribution to Philippine progress and development. Their commitment to serve the Filipino people reflects not only on themselves, but also on the indomitable Filipino spirit of bayanihan. Serenata from Saudi Arabia, for its dedication to excellence in music and the significant fruits derived from successful fellowship that have generously supported the education of less fortunate students in the Philippines. Serenata is represented by Rita Canete Kua. True development exists only when the marginalized and the disadvantaged sectors in our society are able to feel and see the positive changes it brings to their lives. For Filipino organizations and individuals who have provided unparalleled support and assistance in advancing the cause of Filipino communities overseas, the President confers the Banaag Award. Daegu Filipino Community Council from South Korea, for its commendable work of safeguarding the welfare of Filipinos based in Daegu, South Korea, as well as its noteworthy initiatives in giving back to the Philippines in time of need. Daegu Filipino Community Council is represented by Alice Lipatacho, Julian Dumlao, and Irvin Bequilio. Mr. Danilo M. Favor from the United Kingdom, in recognition and his commendable proactivism for the improvement of the health and well-being of his constituents, as well as his beneficiaries in the Philippines. Institute of Integrated Electrical Engineers Central Region Chapter from Saudi Arabia, in recognition of its commitment to foster unity and inspire fellow electrical engineers to improve technical proficiency and thereby enable one another to have the means to support even those in need of human development assistance in the Philippines in their host country. The Institute of Integrated Electrical Engineers Central Region Chapter is represented by Daniel G. Cabasa, Roland Nicolas, and Etiokio Guantero Jr. Sister Rosa Angelica C. Libron from South Korea for her selfless dedication, which ensures that Korea-based Filipino migrants can lead peaceful and meaningful family lives, and her inclusive missionary trust that extends itself to both Korean and Filipino beneficiaries. Mr. Augusto E. Mercado from the United States of America, in his recognition of his exemplary dedication to the Filipino-American Texas community, as well as to disaster victims in the Philippines, and his successful application of his entrepreneurial skills that have contributed not only to his own success in business and technology, but also to the success of a wide network of Filipino professionals in the United States. Migrant Heritage Commission from the United States of America. In recognition of the significant impact of its pro bono services that help in the protection and promotion of the human rights of Filipino migrants and their families in the United States, and its seamless support of a diversity of headed by other Filipino-American organizations. The Migrant Heritage Commission is represented by Grace Valera Jaramillo, Jesse Gatchalian, and Arnedo Valero. Ms. Victoria V. Navarro from the United States of America for her dynamic leadership at the helm of the Philippine Nurses Association of America that has significantly advanced the cause of Filipino nurses in the United States, and for unselfishly sharing resources, experiences, and expertise through numerous philanthropic activities in the Philippines. Ms. Anita Aquino Sasaki from Japan. In recognition of her exemplary service and initiatives that have benefited the Filipino community in Japan, especially the advancement to a new culture has been her foremost concern. The virtues of the Filipino is what makes them sought after, whether in international organizations, business enterprises, academic institutions, government, or as individual professionals. For Filipinos overseas who have demonstrated excellence or distinction in their work or professions, the President confers the Pamana ng Pilipino Award. Mr. Marianito O. Asperila from the United States of America. In recognition of his ingenious application of his expertise in the prevention and treatment of infectious disease as an instrument against viral causes that have benefited national groups, including his fellow Filipinos in the United States and in the Philippines. Mr. Michael Cinco from the United Arab Emirates. In recognition of his exceptional accomplishment as a noted Filipino fashion designer in the Middle East and the unique creativity of his creations that have been featured and acclaimed on the international fashion scene. Mr. Christopher L. Colo, United States of America. In recognition of the extraordinary and exemplary ways and means he adopted to build his company as a leading technology provider to major government agencies and corporations in the United States, Mr. Rosita Colo will receive the award in behalf of Christopher Colo. Ms. Cristeta Comerford from the United States of America for her remarkable journey to culinary success and her unique and exemplary role as the first Asian and woman executive chef of the White House. Flordelisa Salamat will receive the award in behalf of Cristeta Comerford. Ms. Sheila S. Coronel from the United States of America, in recognition of her proven capacity to influence socio-political change through peaceful means as a passionate investigative journalist and mentor to successor generations as the Dean of the Academic Affairs of Columbia University. Miriam Coronel Ferrer will receive the award in behalf of Ms. Sheila Coronel. Mr. William D. Dar from India, in frontiers of scientific research and technology to ensure food security for all, and for his staunch advocacy in the important role of professional horticulturists in this endeavor. Mr. Roderick M. de la Cruz from the United States of America, in recognition of his expertise in dam engineering and management and his invaluable assistance in addressing dam and flood mitigation issues as a balik scientist and an advocate of the much-needed regulatory framework to resolve a recurring environmental problem in the country. Ms. Filomenita Mongaya Hogsom from Denmark, for her versatility and creativity in translating her advocacies into action for the promotion of women's issues, especially the respect for Filipino migrants' rights and their gender fair treatment in the European community. Mr. Jonathan D. Irabagon from the United States of America, in recognition of his successful transformation of his musical talent into phenomenal successes in the recording industry, concert tours, and jazz performances alongside the best of jazz professionals on the music scene, and his generosity in guiding aspiring musicians to also become the best they can be. Purissima Capistrano Laconico will receive the award in behalf of Jonathan Irabagon. Ms. Jasmine B. Lee from South Korea, for her pioneering achievement as the first Filipina and foreign-born citizen to be elected in the National Assembly of South Korea, and her breakthrough initiatives that has raised public awareness of the importance of multiculturalism in this era of globalization. Ms. Cecil B. Licad from the United States of America, for her exemplary talent as a world-renowned pianist and musician. Ms. Rosario B. Licad will receive the award in behalf of Cecil Licad. Mr. Robert Lopez from the United States of America, for his unique positioning among the equally talented EGOT awardees and the fine quality of his musical contributions that have gladdened the hearts of audiences of all ages worldwide. Ms. Leia Salonga will receive the award on behalf of Robert Lopez. Ms. Sheila Lirio Marcelo from the United States of America, for her astute application of her business skills and the relevance of her vision and gender fair initiatives in support of the call for women empowerment. Mr. Baldomero M. Oliveira from the United States of America, for his groundbreaking research in cone nail toxins as a valuable contribution in the field of marine drug discovery. Gisela P. Concepcion will receive the award in behalf of Baldomero Oliveira. Mr. Alfredo R. Roses from Australia, for his enduring passion for the arts and intellectual integrity that have won him for admiration and respect across generations. Ms. Leia Salonga from the United States of America, for her exceptional accomplishments as an international performer, which has brought recognition not only to herself, but also to the musical talent and ingenuity of her fellow Filipinos. Ms. Lolita Valderrama Savage from the United States of America, for the exhilarating freshness of her landscape artistry, which have gained international acceptance and appreciation by discriminating art lovers in the Philippines and overseas. Mr. Paulo Antonio S. Silva from the United States of America, for his exceptional professionalism in the practice of ophthalmology and his pioneering contributions in the area of retina research, which have helped colleagues and aspiring medical students to blaze new trails in telemedicine and ensure the provision of quality of healthcare in the United States and in the Philippines. Ms. Ophelia Helvezon Tequi from France, for her expertise in the arts as exemplified by her renowned masterpieces as printmaker, painter, and ceramic artist, all of which convey the subtle fusion of Western and Eastern themes that can only come from the creative hands of an expatriate with a truly Filipino soul. May I now call on Ms. Jasmine Lee to deliver a response in behalf of the recipients of the Year 2014 Presidential Awards for Filipino individuals and organizations overseas.
His Excellency President Benigno S. Aquino III, Commission on Filipinos Overseas Secretary Imelda M. Nicolas, members of the Cabinet, fellow awardees, and our loved ones, a worthwhile afternoon to each and everyone. This afternoon, it is so moving to see exceptional individuals and groups gathered in one memorable place. The energy that's coming out from everyone today is, I think, enough to push away Typhoon Ruby. So I think, hopefully, it will switch its direction soon. As Filipinos, and may I quote Secretary Nicolas, honorary Filipinos, as Filipinos and honorary Filipinos, this ceremony is one of the striking episodes of each of our journeys, especially for those who are balikbayan. This return to the Philippines is a significant one that, in spite of being far by choice or by circumstance, our service, excellence, and advocacies have been duly recognized here at home. Since I became the first non-ethnic Korean to be in the National Assembly of Korea, people have congratulated me for being a part of history and for opening a new door of opportunity. People dubbed me as a trailblazer. I am sure many, if not all of us today, are considered as trailblazers in our own respective fields. As I've mentioned in my speech at Geneva last week, being a pioneer means carving your own way. It's a tough and at times lonely road, and being unusual is and will always be difficult. Thus, I have always told people that being a trailblazer means two things. Either you light the way or you burn the way. And of course, I believe it is our utmost desire to choose the former and pave the way for more trailblazers and for more people to follow. This journey is a collective celebration as well as a collective responsibility. In many circumstances, I have seen how our fellow kababayan in Korea embrace the challenge to extend their own ways in helping out and making this a path of shared accomplishment. Each one of us here has our own stories to tell, journeys we have trudged in our own embrace of what it is being a Filipino. How did you do it? Was one of the questions I was asked a while ago. And it's the same question that I want to ask everyone in here. Sigurado ako na marami tayong makukulay at bibong mga kwento tungkol sa pagiging isang Pilipino habang nasa ibang bansa at aabutin tayo ng siyam-siyam kung atin itong pakikinggan lahat. So I am sure that along with our Filipino trademark of being hardworking and passionate, our aura of making things bright and light, and the kaya natin attitude despite dark and gloomy circumstances is the charm of the Filipino spirit. And this is what makes us stand above the rest and become a source of light to the people around us. Today, it is such an honor to be with fellow trailblazing Filipinos and Filipinos at heart, or the honorary Filipinos, who have shown their dedicated contribution for the development of the Philippines and in serving our fellow Filipinos. As recipients of the 2014 Presidential Awards, it is our utmost gratitude to Malacañang and CFO for giving recognition to us, overseas Filipinos, as well as those who have dedicated themselves for the sake of Filipinos here and abroad. My fellow awardees, being here is a reminder that this is a celebration not only for ourselves. Our presence here in Malacañang represents the 10 million overseas Filipinos who are having their own unique journeys. Accepting this award is a challenge to advance our advocacies and aspirations that would serve as an inspiration to fellow Filipinos wherever they are, whatever they do. It is my hope that our country would continue to give recognition to exceptional individuals and groups in particular, spreading wider the scope and wings in recognizing many other sectors. May we continue to strive to recognize and showcase Filipinos all over the world. Let us make our own lights shine and allow the collective light to brighten the way. On behalf of each awardee, maraming salamat po for this humbling acknowledgement and a warm congratulations to each one who received the Presidential Awards this year. Mabuhay.
Thank you, Ms. Lee. We are privileged tonight because we need not look far for musical entertainment. One of our awardees, Ms. Leia Salonga, will endear us with a song number.
It's okay. You're a real performer. Sorry, you guys get my back, but it means you have my back. That's okay. It's nice to know that the president has my back. I like that. To all of my fellow awardees, congratulations. This song is for each and every one of you.
Saan matatagpuan ang timiyas ng perlas ng silangan, nagniningning sa buong kapuluan. Taglay ko ang hiwaga ng silangan at saan mang bayan o lungsod, maging timog, hilaga at kanluran, ang Pilipino ay namumukod. Sama-sama nating abutin pinakamatayog na bituin Sama-sama nating pagsisikap, sama-sama ring mararating ang iba't ibang galaw, iisang patutunguhan. Dito isang araw, isang kapuluan. Sama-sama nating abutin pinakamatayog na bituin at ang ating tagumpay, tagumpay ng ating lahi, tagumpay ng ating lipi, ang tanging minimithi at hinahangad. Hangad ko'y tagumpay natin lahat. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Ms. Lea Salongo. May we now call on Secretary Imelda M. Nicolas to introduce our guest speaker.
Ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency Benigno S. Aquino III, President of the Republic of the Philippines.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Please sit down. Your Excellencies of the Diplomatic Corps, Secretary Melda Nicolas, Secretary Patricia Licuanan, Secretary Laila de Lima, Secretary Greg Domingo, awardees of the 2014 Presidential Awards for Filipino individuals and organizations overseas, fellow workers, government honored guests, mga minamahal kong po kababayan, magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat. When I was looking at the program and I saw that Leah was going to sing, I said, wow, we are indeed very fortunate. You know? Who would not want to hear Leah sing? And you've come a long way in your 21 years, Leah, talaga. Of life, huh? Of course, we have our own artist in residence here at the palace, no? We have a very efficient Secretary of Justice who also performs the entertainment functions from time to time. But not at this time because she's preparing a lot of memos to guide certain quarters with regards to tackling Ruby. So not today. I'm sure we'll be able to prevail upon her at some future time. Ladies and gentlemen, as President, I'm confronted each day with a seemingly endless stream of issues and concerns, each of which claims to be the most urgent and demands my immediate attention. Part of my job is prioritizing which urgent concern to address first. For instance, this week we have been preparing for Typhoon Ruby, which entered our country's area of responsibility yesterday. This involves coordinating all agencies to make sure that they are working in the most efficient manner possible so that we can greatly reduce the risk to our populations and minimize the sufferings of those that will be affected. This we have done on top of all the issues that likewise need appropriate solutions. Events like this awarding ceremony then are very welcome as they provide me a respite, no matter how brief, from the heavy and never-ending demands of the job. Each awardee in this hall today has an inspiring success story that infuses a little more positivity into our lives. We have those who have championed better lives for Filipino migrants abroad, and those who have become channels through which the world can witness the excellence of the Filipino. It is thanks to individuals like you that Filipinos abroad are able to cope with the many challenges of being far away from home. This is something I know slightly from experience. Some of you might know that during the martial law years, my family lived in exile in Boston. Back then, it was the warmth and solidarity of our countrymen that kept the fire of hope alive within all of us as we continued the battle against the dictatorship. Indeed, it is men and women like you who help to forge a sense of community on distant shores and who display to the world the innate talents and drive of our people. I have no doubt that those of you who have flown in from abroad have seen that while many things have changed in our country, some things will always stay the same. Namely, the warmth our country is known for, both literally and figuratively. Some of you may have already caught up with relatives over some home-cooked adobo. But perhaps if you take a closer look around, you will notice that the Filipino people have made even grander preparations for your return and for the eventual return of the rest of our countrymen abroad, a country that is revitalized and filled with optimism. Over the past 4 years and 5 months, the support of the Filipino people has allowed us to turn our country's fortunes around for the better. In May of 2010, they voted for the idea that was the heart and soul of our campaign for the presidency, encapsulated in the slogan, "Kung walang korap, walang mahirap," or in English, "Where there is no corruption, there will be no poverty." The backing of the Filipino people has allowed us to pursue major reform after major reform. It has allowed us to overhaul our budgeting processes so that we only spend our people's money on projects that will benefit our people. It has helped us foster a fair and level macroeconomic environment, winning the confidence of investors and thus leading to more expansive opportunities for our people. It has allowed us to channel the state's resources to invest in projects geared towards health, education, and poverty alleviation, thus empowering our countrymen to make the most of our current economic resurgence. Our people's continued support has likewise made it possible for us to pursue all those who have erred against the people, regardless of their power or influence. Perhaps you have seen in the countries you reside in the dramatic change in how the Philippines is perceived. As economies all over the world are still steadying themselves after the uncertainty of recent years, the global community has made no secret of the renewed belief in our country. Credit ratings agencies around the world have granted us a total of 20 positive credit ratings actions during our term, with the most significant ones coming last year, when Moody's, Standard & Poor's, and Fitch unanimously granted us investment grade status. We have gone from being considered an economic basket case to being referred to by some as Asia's new tiger. We have made continued and significant progress along many global measures of competitiveness, including the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business Index and the World Economic Forum's Global Competitiveness Report. In fact, just yesterday, Transparency International released its 2014 Corruption Perceptions Index, where the Philippines improved once more, marking a 49-place improvement for our country since 2010. You will also be interested in the strides we have made in the aviation industry. Last year, through the hard work of the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines and our local carriers, the International Civil Aviation Organization lifted the significant safety concerns it had previously issued our country. This was followed by the European Union lifting the ban on Philippine Airlines. This 2014, the EU did the same for Cebu Pacific. Needless to say, this means that we can expect direct flights to multiple locations in Europe to increase in the near future. In 2014, the United States Federal Aviation Administration likewise upgraded the Philippines back to Category 1 status. Thus, we can also expect an expansion of routes going to and from the United States. The implications are wide. Filipinos such as yourselves will now find it easier to come back home. Tourists and businessmen alike will also find it more convenient to visit our country and see what we have to offer. This was made possible through the leadership of CAAP Director General William Hotchkiss, the Corporation for Airlines, and the continued backing of our people. Indeed, times have changed. As you continue to work in your offices, your community centers, your studios, your clinics and laboratories towards the pride and upliftment of our people, you have a government and a Filipino people that is working shoulder to shoulder with all of you. Together, we have given rise to a global community where Filipinos can truly hold their heads high. While the awards you receive today are symbols of your success, I am hopeful that you also treat them as invitations to continue your pursuit of excellence and the way you bring pride and honor to our country. Let us continue doing our very best to fulfill our individual roles in nation building. We have changed the way the world sees us, and we must build on this. We must ride our current momentum and show the world that the excellence of the Filipino knows no bounds. Thank you, good day, and an early Merry Christmas to one and all.
Natunghayan po ninyo mga kaibigan
Mr.
ang naging mensahe ng ating Pangulong Benigno S. Aquino III sa mga awardees ng 2014 Presidential Awards for Filipino individuals and organizations overseas. Salamatan niya ang ating awardees maging inspirasyon at source of pride para sa kanilang mga kababayan dito po sa Pilipinas. Kinilala rin ng Pangulo ang kontribusyon ng ating awardees sa pagpapakita sa buong mundo ng natatanging galing, talino at talento ng mga Pilipino. Higit sa lahat po mga kaibigan ay kinilala ng Pangulo ang kontribusyon ng ating overseas Filipino workers sa pagpapalago ng ekonomiya ng Pilipinas. Siniguro naman po niyang hindi nasasayang ang pagod at pagsisikap ng ating mga kababayan sa ibang bansa dahil ang kanila pong pamahalaan ay puspusan ang pagpapalaganap ng mga reforma. Ipinagmalaki po ng Pangulo ang progreso ng anti-corruption measures ng Aquino administration. Kaya naman daw po, ang pera ng bayan ay mas nagagamit sa tama tulad ng sa mga pangunahing pangangailangan ng mga mamamayan tulad ng edukasyon at kalusugan. Ipinagmalaki rin po ni Pangulong Aquino ang pag-angat ng ekonomiya ng bansa mula sa pagiging economic basket case noon hanggang sa ngayon ay pagiging Asia's new economic tiger. Kaya naman po mas marami na po tayong nahihikayat na investors para po mamuhunan sa ating bansa. Ibig sabihin po nito ay mas maraming trabaho at mas maraming oportunidad para sa ating mga kababayang Pilipino. Bilang resulta po ng pagsisikap ng pamahalaan ay inalis na rin po ng European Union ang ban sa Philippine Airlines at sa Cebu Pacific. At dahil po dito ay mas makaaasa ang ating mga kababayan ng mas maraming direct flights mula sa Pilipinas patungo sa Europa and vice versa. At sa punto pong ito mga kaibigan ay panoorin natin ang aking naging panayam kay Miss Jasmine Lee, isa sa awardees ngayong taon. Kapiling naman po natin mga kaibigan, si Binibining Jasmine Lee, ang kauna-unahang Filipina and foreign...
Dapat Typhoon Ruby will gradually weaken. Ang strength niya ngayon is 195 from 215. Gradually, continuously weaken. Yung cold air coming from the northeasterlies ay nag-i-interact with the system, kaya humihina, pampahina siya. Gradually, the technical word is gradually weaken in terms of speed, rain intensity, and even the diameter. Yung movement niya going to the land is humina din. Actually, nag-stationary nga kanina. 2 hours ba? More than 2 hours. As long as tumatagal siya bago mag-land, mas advantageous kasi yung gradual weakening is related to time. Habang tumatagal, lalong ihina siya. So we would expect that it will weaken until landfall, until even after landfall hanggang mag-exit siya. So yun ang positive news. So hindi na siya magiging super typhoon. Yun, continuously. Tapos bibigyan ng more more details sila.
Sige, anytime mag-start. Okay.
Hindi nakikita dito eh. Ito yung ito yung Typhoon Ruby. Meron dito, ito yung tawag na northeasterlies. Amihan. Ay nasama-sama na sila na embed dito sa system. Yung malamig ito. Iyan ang mechanism bakit siya tumihina. Pero yung track ay would be the same din. Doon din sa between Borongan and Katarman, dada ng bandang northern part of Mindoro.
Oo, nakita ko na yun.
Parehas din.
Yung nasa gitna, yung
sabihin lang yung amihan, gano'n na siya
maximum wind.
gano'n na yung system niya ngayon that it can affect.
Tatlong kulay na yun, apat.
Malilesen kasi hihina siya in terms of wind, in terms of rainfall,
Sige.
including the area.
Pwedeng yung isa,
Very
iwanan ko lang doon sa, hello.
Mababawasan.
Yung isa doon,
Baka mawala pa.
sa may, sa may speaker, tapos dito pwedeng i-touch nyo lang sabay. Oo, sige.
Magbibigyan ng more details sila. Pero 195 ngayon. Yes. The track will remain the same. At yung paghina niya ay gradual, pero continuous. Siguro as reference lang, umabot na tayo 195 ngayon. Baka mamaya 4 hours to 6 hours bababa pa. Until tomorrow, until grateful. Tuloy-tuloy lang yan. Baka ito na yung pagdadasal lang lahat ng Pilipino. Lilit din yun. Gradually dililit. Everything will be gradual, pero everything will be continuous. So, pero it will reduce yung speed, rainfall, diameter,
Pasok, boss.
and also...
Okay, kung marang, halik ang... Huwag ako, sir, ha?
Maglalang po. Same. Yes, same. Okay. I have to go. This was observed ng ating mga pag-asa meteorologists early this morning, late this morning. And wala na, di na namin titigilan to. We discussed about it and check and double check. It is actually, it's happening.
So magandang hapon po. Simulan na po natin yung press con with regards sa updates sa Typhoon Ruby. So as of this afternoon, base na rin sa mga datos na nakalap ng pag-asa at dahil na rin sa nabanggit natin kanina, yung prevailing northeast monsoon sa northern part of the country ay bahagyang humina po ang bagyong si Ruby. At kanina, sa lakas ng 215 kilometers per hour na maximum wind, ngayong hapon po ay ang pagtaya natin ay around 195 kilometers per hour na lamang po. Ang taglay nitong lakas ng hangin malapit sa sentro nito. And as of 3 p.m. this afternoon, ang bagyong si Ruby po ay tinataya natin nasa layong 380 kilometers east ng Borongan Eastern Samar. So nasa dagat pa rin po ito. Subalit, yun nga, patuloy na kumikilos palapit po dito sa may bandang Eastern Visayas area. Taglay nga ni Ruby ang lakas ng hangin na umabot hanggang 195 kilometers per hour malapit po sa gitna nito. Ang pagbugso naman ng hangin ay abot hanggang 230 kilometers per hour. At ang forecast movement po nito within 24 hours ay west-northwest sa bilis naman na 13 kilometers per hour. So mapapansin po natin ating satellite imagery na ganun pa rin po. At isang senyales ng bahagyang paghina nito ay mapapansin na natin, bahagyang natakpan ng kaulapan yung mata nito at itong mapulang part nito ay bahagyang umimpis din po as compared with the previous images. But hindi rin po tayo basta dapat na kumbaga mag-relax ng konti dahil bahagyang humina ito. Dahil at the moment, typhoon category pa rin po ito at mini-maintain pa rin po natin yung threat nito sa mga ilang areas ng Visayas, Southern Luzon, and Northern Mindanao sa mga darating na araw. Ito naman po yung based from the forecast track as of 2 o'clock this afternoon. The usually pinakikita natin na warning areas na kung saan may mga ilang lalawigan na kinoconsider natin na matindi ang magiging impact ng lakas ng hangin at possibly yung lakas dami ng ulan. Ito pong pulang-pula yung malapit sa sentro ng ating bagyo, gaya nga na lagi nating binabanggit. Normally, yung pinakamalakas na hangin na dala ng isang sama ng panahon or this typhoon to be particular ay malapit po sa sentro nito. So from the forecast center of the Typhoon Ruby ay nag-estimate po tayo ng around 100 kilometer radius north and south of the center of the typhoon. Ito po yung grabe talaga yung magiging epekto, mamaya papakita natin mo possible. And then another 100 kilometer from the outermost part nitong kulay red, we have the orange color, and yellow naman for another 100 kilometer from the outermost part of the shaded area na orange. So makikita natin dito, hindi pa po ito yung actual na warning signal, no? Pero ito po yung isang guidance natin for preparation. Ibig sabihin yan, regardless of directly maapektuhan ng bagyo or hindi, dahil sa kalawakan po ng dala nitong ulan, at tinitingnan natin yung all of the other possibilities involved during the course of its projected movement in the next 24 hours as well as within the next 3 days, inaabisuhan din po natin yung ilang lalawigan na hindi po directly maapektuhan na maging handa. Ano-ano po ba itong mga areas na to? So, ito ang mapapansin natin, tinanggal natin yung ito pong offshore, kaya dito ay offshore, pati yung bahaging karagatan. Kailangan din po nating warningan dahil alam naman po natin, gaya ng binanggit natin kanina, we're not only concerned with the welfare of our kababayan sa landmass, but as well as yung may mga source of livelihood, yung mga lumalaot pong mga kababayan natin. At ito nga yung with regards, tanggalin natin yung offshore, yung kasamang shaded portion ng karagatan. Ito po yung mga ilang area sa kalupaan na we have the guidance for the preparation. Nakaraniwan po ay dinidisseminate naman natin sa other government agencies na kakibat natin sa disaster preparedness and mitigation. So ito po yung under the 600 kilometer diameter of the forecast track. Ito yung mga ilang lalawigan. 47 provinces po under the 600 kilometer diameter. Dahil from 700 kanina ay bagyang nabawasan yung radius ng bagyong si Ruby. 47 provinces. So lahat po na nakalista dyan na lalawigan ay pinapayaan po natin na continuously monitor. Kung may directly talagang may mga warning signal, coordinate with the local DRM office at saka yung local government at of course yung initiative ng mga individual nating kababayan sa paghahanda at pagkalap ng tamang impormasyon para sa ating preparation and other measures. So for the 100 kilometer diameter from the center of the typhoon, ito yung nakalista po natin ng mga areas or lalawigan, 16 provinces. Ano ba inaasahan natin doon na potential impacts due to the severe wind? Storm surges of about 3 to 4 meters high, and of course, heavy damage to agricultural or to the agriculture. Yung mga malalaking puno, posible pong ma-uproot or matanggal sa pagkakatanim nito. Yung karaniwang mga bahay na yari po sa nipa at kogon, yung mga bahay kubo, so to speak, pwedeng matanggalan ng bubong, masira or totally masira dahil po sa mga light to medium na construction nito, yung mga materials na ginamit dito. Pagdating naman sa electrical and communication services, moderate to heavy disruption, and of course, travel by land, sea, and air is dangerous.